Hello, everybody, and welcome to Spiels to Reels, the podcast about comics, movies, anything you can really think of, really, that has anything to do with nerddom. I'm your host, Dallin, and I'm joined, as always, by my co-host, Jordan.
Hello.
And today we have two special guests, our brothers from Red 2 Chatter, Jay and Ryan.
Hey, guys.
Hello, everybody.
And, so we have some stuff to talk about today.
Yeah.
Yeah. Today's gonna be kind of more focused than it usually is, but that's an accomplishment. So first of all, let's talk about the female Doctor Who, and what we think of that. I'm all for it. I like it.
Especially since it's been part of canon for, I don't know. Has it been part of canon since the beginning that he could always come back as a female?
Well, it's always been just stated that he can regenerate into any form, really.
Okay, so, yeah.
So, yeah. And it's completely random, so he doesn't know what he's going to turn into when it happens, but when it happens, then he, that's why whenever he regenerates, the first thing he looks for is a mirror to see what he looks like.
Oh, so it's like Quantum Leap.
Hey, there you go.
Any of you guys know what that show is?
Totally Quantum Leap ripoff.
That's a great
Of course,
show.
Doctor Who might have been before
Doctor
Leap.
Who was back in the 40s.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Doctor. I remember watching Doctor Who on PBS way back in the day. I'm much older than your hosts, Dallin and Jordan. I remember watching
so basically...
big old curly-haired Doctor Who
Oh, yeah. 5th, I think he is.
on PBS.
So it's very Quantum Leap-esque.
Right,
Very-
I can see the similarities between the two. I'm not a huge Doctor Who fan, especially as of late, so I'm not too familiar with.
No, I was
That
more
whole
of a fan
process.
back when the guy with the big giant afro,
Yeah,
and it's probably in the 70s,
80s, early 80s.
early 80s.
Yeah.
Now, I got into Doctor Who when the re-release came out, when it was the 9th Doctor. And I actually really liked it. I very much enjoyed it. The problem that I had with it was for some reason, I don't know if it's just my TV or whatever, but the sound effects are too loud that you can't hear some of the dialogue. And that was the only part that really... And, dialogue is very important in a show like this. So, it really annoyed me, and I don't know if that was, Netflix's problem. I don't know if it's my TV's problem. And then they took it off Netflix, so I don't have any way to watch it now. I have to go out and get the DVDs sets.
Yeah, our Blu-ray sets.
Yeah, and do it that way, which is always tedious. But I really do want to get back into it now and pick up from where I left off, because I left off when the 10th Doctor went away and it was the 11th's turn. I never saw Matt Smith in the Doctor's shoes, so I do need to get back into it. I want to get back into it.
Yes. I've never been a huge fan either. I tried watching it. I got through all of the season with, what's his name?
Christopher Eccleston?
Yeah, there you go. And partway through some of it with David Tennant, but I don't know. It just never really pulled me in. But I mean, I think it's cool. I'm not, yeah, for this, because I mean, it shouldn't be a big deal, and I don't. But it's cool. I like that they're bringing a woman in.
Yeah, going to the whole, let's have a woman as a doctor. Who cares? Is it cool? Sure. Does it need to be, front page news every time I look at Facebook?
No.
Captain Janeway never got that kind of coverage.
No.
She became, the first captain of the Starfleet Enterprise,
No, it was the
Yeah.
Enterprise.
Well,
It
she was on
Voyager.
Voyager, but...
Well, did they make a big deal out of it when Laverne and Shirley got their own show back in the friggin' early 80s, or the Golden Girls? No. Why is it such a big deal nowadays?
Or, Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
There's been female lead roles,
Strong female lead
roles
roles.
since almost television has begun.
Right now, if it's
I Love Lucy. Anybody heard of that show?
Right.
It's
stupid.
This is very similar to the whole video game thing about people, about people going crazy about, where in games where you don't get to choose your gender, like you play as a female, for example, like Nier Automata, even though she's not really female, she has a female programming, but she's an android. A lot of people are going crazy because it's like, oh, it's a female protagonist. I'm like, dude, we've had Samus,
Laura Croft,
yeah,
Tomb Raider.
We've had Samus since like the 80s.
Yeah, Metroid.
Yeah.
Metroid. Since
If
the
you've ever
80s.
played that game, guess what? You're playing as a girl.
Yeah, yeah.
It doesn't matter. Like this whole if the person's right for the role,
That's
then
all that matters.
that's all that matters.
Mm-hmm.
It shouldn't. Oh well, we need more females doing this and that. If the females if that's what the role calls for, then cast a female.
Yeah.
You know I don't get the big hubbubaloo about the whole thing.
Hullabaloo.
Hullabaloo.
Hullabaloo. But yeah, I really do want to watch it with her. Or I want to see how she does. But I need to catch up. So, yeah. But I'm excited. I'm excited to see what they do with it. And I'm excited to see where Doctor Who goes. Of course, they said that he can only have 13 regenerations. I think that's what they said before he actually, dies. And this might be the last one.
Is this the 13th?
I think so.
Huh.
That'll
be interesting.
I think that was the thing that they were saying. They were only going to go up to 13 regenerations. I think they were saying. I could be wrong about that, but I thought that was the news around the corner. Sure. Next up, let's talk about Game of Thrones. This is the Jay and Jordan show. Ryan and I don't really have anything to say on the
I
matter.
haven't seen it yet.
Right, yeah. Ryan hasn't seen it, and Dallin doesn't care.
The
Yeah.
latest episode. I've seen everything up to this episode.
I might just. I don't know.
You should watch, just watch this season, just because it's gotten, in
Yeah,
my
but I
opinion-
don't know anything that's going on. I'm not invested in anything.
Don't worry. I can catch you up. It's easy. Most of the stuff that happened in past seasons was
All those
absolute
people are dead anyway. So
nonsense.
Well, I know,
Right.
Jon Snow. Oh yeah, versus also just spoilers. I know that Jon Snow died and then came back. I know that that one little brat got poisoned. I know that
Joffrey.
Joffrey.
Yeah.
Yes.
I know
that was a while ago.
Yeah, I know
That was
the
a
red
long time
wedding happened. I don't know what that was all about, but there's a whole bunch of hype around it. I didn't get it.
You got the basics.
Yeah, I don't know.
Basically, all you need to know is Jon Snow's in the north, and he's got his group of people now.
Right, the Lannisters are in King's
You
Landing.
got the Lannisters in King's Landing, and you got Daenerys Targaryen coming with her dragons and her army to friggin' fight.
None of
In
this
Westeros.
means anything
Right.
to
And
me.
then and then on the other side of the wall, you have the White Walkers and the zombies.
Right.
That's all you need
it.
to know.
That's all you need to know. We're just, Ryan's just making.
I just
letting
got
you
you
know
up.
how,
The
how
rest of the
simple
crap
it
that
is.
happened throughout all those other episodes is pretty much meaningless.
Well, I don't know what because I watch people on YouTube, gamers who watch Game of Thrones, and they talk about it a lot, and there was a Telltale Games of Game of Thrones, I think, and, they were saying, something about King's Landing not being a very trustful place, it's full of assassins and
That's where the
a bad
Lannisters are.
crowd.
Yeah, it's sort of the capital of Westeros, if you will.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a seedy place. I mean, it's the capital. I mean,
Yeah.
there's a lot of poverty there. And you got the really religious faction that's there, and
Not so much anymore.
Yeah, not
It's
so much
frickin'
anymore.
What's her name? Blew them all up.
yeah,
Right. See,
that's Cersei.
everything
Right.
that you might confuse you is pretty
It
much
was
gone.
gone because that
Right.
Martin guy sucks and friggin' just kills off everybody.
Actually, yes,
Yeah.
I do think
I think it's gotten better.
the TV
since
show has gotten better since they've got past
Past
what
his
George
books.
Martin
Yep.
had written up to.
way better.
Because it's become much easier to follow.
Yes.
Things happen much quicker. Less people you like are dying.
Right.
And yeah, there's more linear storytelling to everything.
Right. It's just tighter.
Yeah.
It's not so okay, what the hell is the point of this?
Yeah, it's just not who's gonna die this week.
Yeah.
Or
that's
that.
oh that main character. Oh well, let's kill him off. Well, which main character are we gonna kill off this week? Oh, that one. Okay.
Although if you've seen previews for next week's episode,
Right.
we might lose somebody that's been around a while.
Might. Yeah. Well, I mean, and that's inevitable.
Well, you have to make
I
the-
hope he goes. I hate
Yeah.
that guy. Anyway, getting back to let's talk about this first episode of season 7. I love the beginning of it.
Oh my gosh, the beginning. Ryan will like the beginning.
Yeah.
The beginning is great.
It's great.
You'll love the beginning if
Okay.
you watch it.
Okay.
Yeah, but all they have to do is fill you in on a few things.
The only thing
and you understand the beginning.
I really saw was like Dad watching the.
Don't.
Okay.
No spoilers. There are
Okay.
no spoilers
I won't
here.
spoil anything. Let's see. That's her, or well, I guess we can say it's Arya's part of the movie,
Right.
or part of the show.
Yep.
And then we get to who's up next. Because I like the way they do it. Like they kind of go from like one place to the next. I guess it goes to Jon Snow after that,
I think so.
and rallying the North, basically.
Yeah.
Trying to and not getting them ready to go after Cersei and the Lannisters, more to protect themselves from the White Walkers.
Right. That's his
Like
focus.
The zombie
That-
army.
Right. And that's,
Yep.
Well, that's what-
Jon Snow's focus.
That's where this whole thing's headed anyway. I mean, you're gonna have the fire and versus the ice, basically.
Right.
In my
At some
opinion,
point.
that's the whole
Yeah.
the whole clash of the whole thing's
And
gonna
I
be fire
love the
versus
young
ice.
Mormont girl.
Oh my gosh.
Oh,
yeah.
she's-
The little
So
girl that's
awesome.
like, oh, you worthless old bastards didn't friggin' back him. We did.
Yeah.
Like
She's
12
in
years
this
old or
episode.
whatever.
She's in this episode, and she is so awesome. I
She is.
love
She
her
just
to
like
death.
shamed, in the very end of last season, she just shamed all the other guys from
Alright,
the north.
she
does
all
it
the other
again.
leaders and just shames them. It's
She
funny.
makes those people feel so small.
Yeah. And she's like a 12-year-old. 12-year-old girl.
But she
But she's
rules
the
her
lead-
kingdom.
she-
like,
right, but she's the ruler.
She's the leader of
Yeah.
her clan or of
Yep.
her people.
Yep. And she is so awesome.
Yeah. She's great.
She's great in this episode. After that, we get to Cersei and
Aftermath of blowing up everybody.
what's his face? Jamie.
Jamie. Yeah.
And Cersei's more interested in protecting King's Landing from the oncoming threat of Daenerys.
Right. Yeah. Holding on to what she has is
Basically is
her
where
goal.
she's at in this episode.
Instead of worrying about getting just
She
everybody being slaughtered.
Right.
They don't even really know yet that much
Nope.
in the north. Well, in the
It
south.
really
yes.
confirms that in this when you get to the Sam part of the episode, where all the maesters, they don't care anything about. Oh, winter comes and winter goes,
Right.
and nothing happens. They're so have no idea what's coming. Sam
Right.
has seen it firsthand. They have no idea what's coming.
Yeah. A bunch of old turds.
Yeah.
Well,
Sitting down there.
Sam
in
is
their
one of the
library.
Sam's the
People's
only
to kill
person
one.
that we know of that's ever killed a White Walker.
Yep. And he's like, we all know what he's looking for Jon Snow. He's looking for a dragon. The dragons. Well, to make the swords and the.
Right.
See, you say that I shouldn't watch the first seasons, but there
Well, you
seems
should-
to be a lot of backstory here that I'm missing out on, even though you say that it's all
so
pointless.
hard to get through, to slog through that backstory that
It
it's
is
really
hard to
just,
slog through.
it's more efficient
Should
for
I
us to
just
tell
should
you.
I just go to Wikipedia and read the
yeah,
plot summary?
yes, you could do that. Do that, actually.
Okay.
Don't
okay.
read the book plot summary, though. Read the plot summary for the
show.
show.
Okay.
HBO
It's
series.
different.
All right.
It differs a lot.
I'll just read the plot summary on Wikipedia.
Right, and then the show kind of wraps up with Daenerys Targaryen, and
Right.
well, there's a little bit with the guy who built the ships and how he managed to build the
Yes.
ships.
Oh my
This
god.
is the biggest part I have about
Oh.
the part about the show I don't like is the guy who killed his brother. Was his brother?
Yeah, it's
Yes.
his brother.
From the Iron
Islands or
Iron
something
Islands,
like that.
yep.
Yeah.
killed his brother,
Runs his niece and nephew off.
but his niece and nephew take all the ships,
Right. And
take
he's
their
like-
entire fleet.
Yeah.
But now
He's
he's
like,
got a whole.
I am gonna build ships.
It's like good luck. What's that going to take you? Like 20 years
Yeah,
to get all those ships back?
Like
he
a
builds
week.
them in a month. He builds them in a week.
yeah, because they show up.
Yeah, they show up. Yeah, because
King's
Cersei
Landing.
sends for him. And,
Yep.
Yeah.
It's
And
like,
it's like, where the
God, here
hell
we
did
go.
those come from?
Yeah, like, did you go steal them from somebody? Because you didn't build them.
Yeah.
For
No.
one thing, they're on the Iron Islands. They didn't have freaking wood.
No, there's no
not
trees.
a tree around.
No. That part cracked me up last season, though.
Yeah, and
It's like,
to see it,
What?
to see like these beautiful looking ships coming across, is like, oh, come on,
Come on, they'd be crude as all get out if
yeah, that'd
nothing
be
else.
So crude.
they'd be on little rafts, is what they'd be on.
Anyway,
Paddles.
you get the Daenerys part. She finally gets to Westeros
Mm-hmm.
in this episode, and I don't think she has but one line.
Yeah, no, she says
So,
one thing
yep.
at the very end, and then it
Yep.
cuts out. It's done.
It's a
Gotta
good
wait for
way
next
to
week.
Yep.
Yeah,
Overall, I really enjoyed the episode.
I did too, except for the ship part.
Yes.
The big giant
Well,
plot hole of.
and it just made me
Yeah.
laugh. I didn't like get mad.
No.
It just made me laugh. Like, oh, seriously?
Right. Yeah, it just reminded me of last season when I
Right.
laughed because I was like, oh yeah, you're going to build ships. Have
Right.
fun with that, buddy.
Yeah.
Freaking moron.
Yeah, 30 years from now, you'll have your fleet back. Oh, no, it only took a month. Or whatever.
Well,
3
and
months.
like you said, his niece and nephew could just sit out there with their ships and, like,
Every
destroy...
time you launch one, it gets blown up.
Right.
It's done.
Like,
Oh, yeah.
every time you start building a frame,
Yeah.
Take it out, and we could starve you out if we wanted to, because you don't
Right.
have any freaking ships. Yeah, that part. Oh my gosh. But other than that, the episode was really... It was
was
great.
good.
It was good. It was a good episode, and yeah.
What do you think about the cameo of Ed Sheeran?
I noticed. I was like, that dude looks like Ed Sheeran.
And it is Ed Sheeran.
It took me a couple times looking at him to realize that is Ed Sheeran.
Where was he at? Like in what?
You see
Is
him
the
with
Arya.
Arya.
He's with Arya?
Yeah.
Yeah, not in the very beginning, but you
Towards
see her
the end
again.
of Arya's
That's pretty funny.
story arc of that
Yeah.
show.
Does he say anything, or is he just there?
Mostly sings. He does say some.
He does say,
has a
yeah.
couple lines.
He has a couple lines.
Okay.
Yeah,
Or he sings
so
a
it was-
song.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
when Arya comes
He's
up.
like
they're
a
kind of around
bard.
a campfire, and that's not a spoiler.
Yeah.
No, it's not a spoiler. No, they're
Reveals
like
nothing
soldiers
about
or
the plot.
something.
Yeah.
Ah.
Yep.
Yeah. But, yeah. So if you want to watch it, Dallin, just... Martin thinks he's complex and cutting edge and all that, and he's not. I promise. Like, just... He's a mess is what he is. But since it's
Yeah, he's
gotten,
a bit of everywhere. And
He is.
I haven't read any of the books, and I've heard some people absolutely love them, and other people are like, this guy's everywhere. Like, you can't hardly follow these things.
Yeah, I tried reading
Like,
the first
Dad
one.
seems to really love them.
Oh yeah, Dad
So-
loved him.
I can't, like, I haven't even tried to follow him. Like, I picked up the first book and opened up the first chapter, and it's Tyrion. What the? Are they just going to go character by character by character and tell the whole character's story? I don't know what's... I just like, well, not interested. Put it back on the shelf.
just no.
Right. But no, it was a good opening.
Anyway, if you guys are fans of Game of Thrones out there and you haven't seen the first episode of season 7, make sure you check that out.
All right.
It's really good.
Okay. Now we finally get on to our movie review. This week it is Spider-Man: Homecoming. Yeah. So we're gonna go start with non-spoiler review. We're just gonna go down the line here. So we'll start with Ryan, end with me, and
So what do you want to know?
it's usually the order.
Overall thoughts?
Yeah, overall thoughts and opinions.
My opinion, best Spider-Man to date. I think it's better than the Tobey Maguires and who's the other guy? that
Andrew
played?
Garfield.
Andrew Garfield. I think it's definitely, it's not so, this one's more in the realm of what it's supposed to be like. You know, from the teenager, definitely not even a senior, you know, he's only like 14, he's 15 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And I like the story. It was a good story, and it's just, you know, it was it wasn't this big, oh, this guy's trying to take over the world, global destruction story like some of the other ones have been, or like just destroying everything that's in their path and killing everybody. It was a thief, and Spider-Man trying to catch a thief.
Mm-hmm.
That's the plot of the story, and it's more simplified than some of these other ones that have been out, like some of the Tobey Maguire ones, you know, where, you know, this Dr. Octopus guy friggin' going around destroying everything because his wife died, and he just wants to make something that's going to basically destroy the whole city. What's the point of that? I mean, why do you want to do that? I like this better. It's basically him trying to catch a thief.
Mm-hmm.
And a guy who's, you know, I guess you can, I don't know if I can say it. No, guy's building weapons, and he's a thief.
Yeah,
Yeah.
an arms dealer.
Yeah,
A
he's
small
not-
scale.
Small scale arms dealer and a thief.
Yeah.
And that's why I really enjoyed it. And there was, you know, there's a lot of teenager stuff in it that, you know, as an older person, I'm like, oh, okay, do we really need this stuff? But
That's
you know,
Spider-Man.
that's Spider-Man. That's
Yeah.
what he's supposed to be. So you kind of have to have that stuff, like the
The
party,
high
you
school
know,
drama
yeah,
stuff.
going to a party or whatever and that kind of stuff. Yeah, the high school drama stuff. That's what high school was about for a lot of people.
Yeah.
So, okay. Who's next?
Jay.
All right, so this movie's okay for me. It's just okay.
He's the black sheep out of this.
Yes, I am sort of
He is.
black sheep out of this group. I love Tom Holland's portrayal of Peter Parker and Spider-Man. No issues there. I love Michael Keaton's portrayal of Vulture and his story. He actually is a very strong villain in this thing. No issues there. My issues really stem from, one, Spider-Man's suit.
Okay, yeah, I'll agree with you on that one. It's too much technology.
2, a high schooler can hack the suit.
From Tony Stark.
Right, Tony Stark's suit. And 3, just, I don't like Zendaya's character at all in this movie. She's like a brooding teenager, but she's like one of those people that just shows she's everywhere, but there's no reason for her to be there.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't like that part of it. Actually, if you were to get rid of those 3 things, or just change those 3 things.
Like maybe just get rid of the girl completely.
Right, not even need her.
And none of the friggin' hacking the suit garbage.
And I don't like that one of Peter Parker's friends knows that he's Spider-Man. I don't like that part.
No, me neither. I did have a little bit of a problem with that.
So, that's sort of why I'm just okay about this movie.
Is it better than the other 2 people who have played Spider-Man, though, in the movies?
I like Tobey Maguire's portrayal better than Andrew Garfield's. And I like the first Spider-Man with Tobey Maguire. I won't say I like it better than this movie. It's just different. Because he is older. I like the time period, like the age of this Spider-Man and Peter Parker better. It makes more sense.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the sort of the Spider-Man I want to see.
Yeah.
And, well, Tobey Maguire's like 30 playing like a 18-year-old.
Yeah, where you actually have a kid playing a kid.
Right, and
he's actually a gymnast, too, so he did a lot of his own stunts, too. So that's what's
I also appreciate in this movie that they didn't go backstory. We already know Spider-Man's backstory.
I was happy about that, too.
So I'm glad that they didn't do that. Yeah, he just mentioned the spider.
And also all the things that Aunt May has been through. Like where he's saying, like, with all the stuff that she's been through, I can't do that to her when he's talking about, you know...
Yeah.
Yeah, telling her
that he's Spider-Man.
Right. And I do like the first Spider-Man with Tobey Maguire. I didn't like the other 2 that much. And I liked the first Spider-Man with Andrew Garfield. I absolutely hated the second one. Those movies had their problems with trying to stuff too many villains into a movie.
Yes.
Another problem I have with this movie is how they handled Shocker. I didn't like that either. I don't like that it was just like, oh, well, now you're Shocker. You have these, and now you're Shocker. Shocker was just a one bad guy, not because you had the little... The gauntlet things that he had. And there's issues I have with how they manipulated the alien technology and made it work so well. Like the anti-gravity, we make this anti-gravity weapon, and now we'll make this weapon that destroys the entire side of a building. And
that guy that is like with Vulture, he's the tinker.
Right. Yeah. I mean, yeah, he's a smart guy.
Uh-huh.
But I just didn't like how quickly they... I mean, it's 8 years, I guess, they were working on
all those things. So, yeah,
so maybe they could have it, like, figured out by then. But it's when the high school kid gets in there and, like, knows, like, oh, well, that's that.
Yeah.
Like, he used that for that piece. And I go, oh, my God. Like, you're a smart kid, but you're not that smart. So those are my issues.
One of the other issues I kind of had a little bit with was the one kid that was always just like razzing on him. He's like, dude, you're like in the same clubs as him.
Oh, Flash?
Flash. I mean, Flash was
douche.
And you would totally get picked on just like everybody else that's in like the academic clubs.
It makes sense more in the comics with Flash because he's this big,
bulky
jock dude. And it's like, it makes sense why no one would pick on him.
Not the idiot of the science club or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Dude, you get
the alternate.
Eaten.
The alternate.
You're not even smart enough to be in this science club. You're just an alternate, unless, Peter Parker's
the debate
gone.
or in the knowledge bowl or whatever.
Yeah.
He's like the alternate guy. Like, he's the jock. He should be a football player.
Right, he's just a rich kid, obviously, because he drives like a
Convertible,
Audi TT or convertible or something.
But it's his dad's. Even that's not
Right.
a rich kid, in my opinion. An Audi TT.
I do like the twist in this movie, though.
Okay, we'll get to that.
Right, but I do like the twist.
Yeah,
in
yeah,
this movie.
it's really
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The twist is good.
The twist was good.
good. Okay,
I kind of suck on him, but I do like it.
Okay, Jordan, you go.
Okay, well, I enjoyed this movie. It was hands down my favorite Spider-Man movie. I didn't have the issues that the Jay and Ryan did. Like, I didn't grow up reading the comic books, so I really didn't walk into it with too much, what do you call it? Too many biases or...
Expectations.
Yeah, too many expectations. I just wanted it to be a good, solid movie.
Mhm.
And, like, up to par with the other Marvel movies, which I think for the most part it was. I mean, it was different from, any of the Avengers stuff. But it was still a really good Marvel movie.
This one actually had one of the more better developed villains of any of them.
Oh,
It
yeah.
did, yeah. It had one
Yes.
of the better villains, yeah. And I think a pretty good, tight storyline. I liked the plot. I didn't mind Zendaya's character. She didn't... I mean, it was kind of funny that she was, like, in random places where it's like, why are you even...
Like in detention.
Right, like, why are you even there? And she just gives some random reason for why she's in there.
I like drawing people in their...
Crisis or
Crisis
whatever, something
moments,
like that. Yeah. I was like, okay, that's nice.
So you're a weirdo. We get it.
Right, yeah. That's
Yeah.
basically what they set her up as, is like a sort of outcast,
Mm-hmm.
weirdo person.
She
which-
doesn't have any friends.
Yeah. Like, I didn't mind that his friend knew that he was Spider-Man, because one of the things I've always liked about Marvel over a lot of DC stuff is the whole secret identity crap. I don't like that, unless, you can do it well, but
Well,
a lot of times it's not done well.
At Spider-Man's age, though, he needs to have
he
his
does.
identity protected.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but I don't mind having someone who knows.
So you probably have a problem with, like, Superman, how he can hide his Clark Kent with
I've
some glasses. And the curly Q goes away.
Had the problem with Superman.
Well,
Always.
There's multiple reasons for
There's
why.
multiple reasons to hate that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Always had that
Stupid.
problem.
Earthlings are stupid. They'll never figure this out.
Hey, look, I put
Let
on
me
some
just
glasses.
put on some
And
glasses,
get rid of my
punch a
curly-
little
and
bit,
Get my little curly Q out
Part
of the way.
my hair this way.
Right.
There we
and
go.
make my voice up and like really high. Even though I have the exact same facial structure as the dude,
Same height.
Same height, same hair color, same eyes, same build.
Right, yeah.
I can't figure it out.
Always drove me crazy, and, like, I
Yeah,
think...
like, well, one of the biggest things with like Superman is like he's supposed to be like when he's Clark Kent, he's supposed to be like this wimpy dude. Why is he so freaking ripped?
Right.
like,
Like,
what?
wouldn't people notice? Like, man, dude, you work out a lot, don't you? Like, oh, God.
Alright, so
Well, I'm like, yeah, whatever. We're not talking about Superman.
Okay.
back to
But,
the Spider-Man.
But yeah, the secret, I just think, again, it can be done well, and I think Spider-Man, they do it well. He has really good, valid reasons for not wanting people to know who he is. Like Jay said, he's young. He doesn't want to put his aunt through that. There's all kinds of stuff. And he doesn't brood about it. That's what drives me nuts. It's like, dude, no one's putting a gun to your head and forcing you to run around in a mask all night being a vigilante or whatever.
No, I
Why
like
are
the
you
fact
so
that
pissy about it?
I like the fact that he wants to be Spider-Man.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
Desperately.
he embraces it.
Yeah. He almost wants it too much.
Right.
Like he enjoys
Oh yeah, he's
it.
always just waiting for a call so he can go help the Avengers or whatever.
Right. And that was probably, like, some of my favorite parts of the movie was just seeing how badly he did want it and what he was willing to let go of to get it. And, like, his arc. I loved Peter Parker's character arc. Where he's at in the beginning and where he ends up at the end. I love all of that. I loved the, I like the relationship because Tony Stark's one of my favorites. And so the relationship between him and Peter Parker and just the complexities that draws out in Tony Stark's character, this, like, paternal, protective,
that
person.
he doesn't want to do.
Right, yeah, but it's not so much that, it's just that it's...
Out of character for him?
No, it's like this, it's just like a different side to him. Like, and you saw it a little bit in Civil War, too. The only reason he wanted the Accords was basically to keep the only family he had from falling apart. He doesn't have family. His parents are dead. And he wanted the Avengers to stay together because that was his family. Well, now he doesn't have the Avengers anymore, so Peter Parker's kind of like, you know, turned into this sort of place where he can focus all of that, I don't even know what you want to call it, but just all of that energy.
Sort of that paternal instinct.
Yeah, that sort of, that longing for a family and for, you know, that sort of familial connection.
Even just like a younger brother or something.
Yeah,
Yeah, because he does that in the end of Civil War. He's like, okay, kid, you're done. No, you're done.
Right, yeah.
And he doesn't let him
You've
try
had
to get
enough,
up. Yeah,
right.
doesn't let him try to get up to
You've
keep
done
going.
your part, you've had enough.
Right, yeah. And Tony Stark is one of my favorite characters, and I loved, even though he wasn't in it a lot, but I loved what you did get to see of his character in this movie. So that was, I enjoyed it. I thought it was, all the jokes were good for me. I thought it was pretty funny when it was supposed to be. Like Jay said, it has one of the best villains in the Marvel Cinematic Universe so far.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because they really developed
His story.
Not the Vulture part, but him as the...
As Toomes.
As Toomes, yeah.
Right, it's just him.
As
He was
himself.
just a regular person.
As a regular guy, yeah. Which they never really did in any of the other Spider-Mans. I mean, you never really
the most you got in that was Willem Dafoe talking to his plastic mask. That looked like it came from Walmart.
Yeah.
He hates Spider-Man. No, we don't. Yeah, like that whole bit is just bad.
Yeah, I mean, you didn't get it from the William Dafoe's character of the Green Goblin. You didn't get anything from Sandman. You didn't get anything
The
from...
most you got from Sandman was, like, he stole
Doc
because
Ock.
his daughter was sick.
Yeah,
Right.
But Dr. Octopus, you really didn't get anything there.
No.
In the way
His
of
wife died, that's
character
about it.
building. The Lizard.
Elektra was
anything.
awful.
Oh my...
I haven't even seen that one. I've
Elektra,
never seen
oh
that
my...
Oh,
Good lord, I hate that
And
freaking
Rhino?
movie.
like,
Okay,
that movie sucks.
So, let me just go through all... Before I tell you my thoughts on this movie, let me just go through all the movies and just give you one, like, single word to describe what I feel about them. So, first one with Tobey Maguire, I actually liked that one. I thought it was good. Second one with Tobey Maguire, it's still good. It wasn't like... It was okay. It wasn't that great, though. Spider-Man 3 with Venom and Sandman and
Emo Tobey Maguire.
and Emo Henry. Emo Harry Osborn. Everyone's emo in that freaking movie. Terrible. Awful. Amazing Spider-Man 1 with Andrew Garfield. It was okay. The only problem I had with him was his portrayal of Peter Parker. He was kind of a little bit of a brat. But I actually kind of liked the Lizard. And then you have Amazing Spider-Man 2. By far, in my opinion, the worst one. The worst Spider-Man movie so far.
By far.
So far. By far. Worst one. Now you come on to this movie. I've just, like, I went into this movie because I was like, okay, it finally has some Marvel control over it. Has some Marvel Studios control. It's not all just Sony. Sony does have some say in some things, but it's like it has that little sprinkle. It has
The Marvel touch.
Yeah, it has Marvel dipping its fingers into it. Like, okay, no, keep it this way. So I was really hopeful with this movie. I wasn't disappointed. I really, really like this movie. I'm definitely gonna get it on Blu-ray when it comes out. I love Tom Holland. Tom Holland's portrayal of Peter Parker is by far the best one we've ever gotten. As Peter Parker, he's kind of quiet. He's awkward. He's he only really has one friend, like, in the whole school. He's a nerd, and he builds Lego Death Stars with his best friend and stuff. And I like that part. And then when you get him into Spider-Man, he's quippy, he's fun, he's energetic, he's jumping all over the place, he's cracking jokes, just like Spider-Man is supposed to. Because, Spider-Man's supposed to be kind of on par with Deadpool in, like, annoying his enemies, like he's, because a lot of the times, when Spider-Man does that kind of stuff, the villains tell him, like, can you just shut up? And, like, try to attack him.
He kind of gets villains out of their comfort zone and like
yeah.
makes them do things they might necessarily not do, like attack them front on, like straight on, or
Yeah.
He really uses their anger against them.
Now, one of my favorite parts about this movie is Aunt May. I really, really like Aunt May in this movie. She's always been one of the most interesting characters in Spider-Man, just from her like development. Because you start out with the Tobey Maguire version with like this old lady who can barely walk, and then it's a bit younger in this one, and this one, she's younger, but she's 51. And so like people saying that it's too young, I don't think so. I think it's actually more realistic that she's that age, because like how old must his parents be, before they died. So I really like Aunt May in this movie. The whole thing about the friend, about Ned finding out that he's Spider-Man. I actually didn't have that big of a problem with it. I thought that it was okay. I mean, I had a problem with it when it was first revealed in the trailers. I was like, oh, really? Because, they revealed it in the trailers, and I was like, really? He knows?
That's why it's not a spoiler.
And so, but I did like how they, didn't make him into a pointless character. Because they could have easily made him into, like, this really, really pointless, stupid character that didn't really need to be there. But he actually helps Peter out with a lot of his stuff. He, like, helps him track Vulture at that one part, and then he does some stuff later on that really helps him. And also, one thing I really liked about this isn't really a spoiler, but there's a part where Spider-Man is driving a car. And mind you, this kid is only 15, and the first thing he asks Ned is, how do I drive? How do you turn on the lights? The headlights on the car. And that really shows his age, and I really like that. He's like, I've never gone driving, only in empty parking lots with Aunt May. I really like that part. With Zendaya's character, I don't have a problem. I'm not going to spoil who she is. But I don't really have a problem with who she is. But I have a problem with her characterization. Because who she is does not match that characterization. And I'll get into that in spoilers section. But I thought she was like trying to be too edgy. And too unique and all that stuff. Like I was like, why can't you just be like, the character that you're supposed to be? But whatever. Vulture, absolutely loved him. I love Michael Keaton, and he did a great job. And he's actually a villain that you sympathize with, and you're like, he's like Zemo in Civil War. You're like, I can kind of see where you're coming from,
Yeah, I can see why you're doing what you're doing.
Yeah, and then Shocker, I didn't have that as much of a problem with him as you did, because Shocker is kind of like a C villain in Spider-Man. He's not that well known, so I think it's okay if you take a little bit of liberties with that character. But overall, I really liked it. So let's give our final rating and then go into spoilers.
Okay.
So
I give it 4 out of 5.
Alright. Jay?
I'll give it 3. A solid 3 Spider-Man wings.
Spider-Man flaps under his armpits?
Yep. Out of 5.
I'm going to go with a 4.3 taser webs out of 5.
I will give it a 4.5 instant kill modes out of 5.
That part was funny.
That part was fun. Okay, spoiler section. If you haven't,
Because of the suit.
Yep.
See, I didn't care.
I didn't care about the suit.
I
I thought it was fun.
I thought
Spoiler time?
it fit considering who it came from.
Yeah.
Which was,
So
Tony
spoiler
Stark.
time.
Of course, Tony Stark was
Okay,
going to
so
go
spoiler
crazy.
time.
Yeah.
There is the part we're talking about right now with the suit it's almost too much Iron Man
But
like.
it
Iron
makes,
Man 2.
It's just it's like too much Iron Man like. It has too many like. I don't know how you can have how this suit that's basically just a friggin' spandex. How it can have 100 and some odd friggin'
It has,
different
like,
modes that it can go into or whatever.
It has like a mainframe underneath the suit.
Yeah,
that
but
he like
still,
gets
I mean,
like that tracker out.
But
of.
how? And at one point, like it says, like, have you mastered all whatever of the suit's abilities? I'm like, how come the suit has thousands of abilities?
Right.
It does. Spider-Man has abilities of shooting webs,
And
normal webs,
superhuman strength,
and superhuman strength,
and he can climb walls.
and
I forgot to.
That's it.
I forgot to mention.
I don't need taser webs.
I missed Spidey sense.
Yes,
there was no
there was
spider
no
sense.
Spidey sense.
Where's my Spidey sense?
Because the suit is there.
Yeah, the suit became the spider sense.
Pretty much.
And that's not how it's supposed to be. That's okay. I didn't even think about that, but that even makes me like it a little less.
Sorry. Yeah,
but yeah, there's a whole bunch. There's definitely some problems with the movie, but there's a lot of like I would say 80% of it's great stuff, and then you got 20% where I'm more of a purist or a person that wants what was in the comic books, or that stuff. I don't need all the extra flash and bling and nonsense, the spinning tire rims of the suit and all that stuff. I just don't need it to make the movie good. You didn't have to have that stuff to. It would have been just as good.
Yeah,
no, I
Actually,
actually
might have been better.
I liked the movie better when Tony Stark took the suit away from Peter Parker, because he actually used his own abilities now.
Mm-hmm.
He built those web shooters. He created the webbing chemical that went in it.
that he makes in his chemistry class.
Right.
And keeps in his drawer.
And, he had just a suit with, that he looked like some underoos, Like, that's exactly why Tony called them underoos. Because his first suit just looked like it was pajamas.
It's sweatpants, blue,
red
light
hoodie.
blue sweatpants, and a friggin' hoodie and a mask.
And some goggles.
Mask with some goggles. So.
Yeah. And I actually like that part of the movie the best, because it's just him with his own abilities there. He doesn't have this suit that just helps him out so much. And he doesn't need it.
So
he doesn't need the suit at all.
That's why I didn't mind the suit, though, because it said more about Tony's character than it did about Peter. Like, obviously, yeah, Peter can get by without it if he needs to.
Well, yeah, because, like...
Tony, Tony, I mean, look at all the crap he put in that frickin' suit. He put a tracker, he put a parachute, he put every combination of web shooters he could possibly think of. I mean, how long did it take him to come up with that?
Exactly. And how long did it take a high school kid to hack that?
Well, okay, no, I had an issue with that. That was like, that's one of the reasons why it doesn't get like a full 5 out of 5. It gets docked a little for that. But just, again, it just says so much about Tony's character and the fact that he's kind of taken Peter Parker in to fill this hole that Captain America blasted through him. And, like, he's very protective. He's protective in his weird, Tony, unique way, but he's extremely protective.
What's the first...
And so, I liked the suit for that, if for no other reason than for that. And I'm not a purist, I didn't care.
I mean, what's the first thing that Peter Parker says when he figures out that, like, what was actually locked away from him? He looks at it, and he, like, says with a worrying look, like, oh, Stark really outdid it this time, or, and he's like, turn things back to normal, I don't need any of this stuff. So he
Right, he just wanted what he had.
Yeah, he just wanted what he wanted before.
The training wheels protocol?
He wanted all that back.
Yeah, he just wanted it back. So, I mean, I like Karen. I will admit, I really like Karen.
Oh, I didn't need the voice.
I thought she was cool and funny, and she was a good, like, kind of conscience for Peter to work off of. See, I actually liked her. And I think once he gets, like, the suit back from him at the end of the movie, where, like, he sends it to him in the paper bag. I'm sure he probably doesn't use all of those. And, well, I mean, he does have those, like, that kind of tech in the comics, too. He does have, like, web grenades and Yeah,
but he
shooting.
makes those himself.
He makes them himself. Yeah. It's not the suit creating the crap for him.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Like, I can just say I want taser webs, and I have taser webs. Oh, I can just say I want to kill somebody, and it'll kill them. That part is the biggest part that annoyed me. Like, he just has webs that just stick people to walls and, like, handcuff people to the, table and stuff. Like he did used when they had the training wheels protocol on.
Yeah, like he did to what's his name there? Not Danny Glover.
Yeah, Donald
Yeah,
Glover.
Donald Glover.
His character, and he just stuck him to the trunk lid, and he's like, that'll wear off in 4 hours.
By the way, Donald Glover plays as the uncle of, his character is the uncle of the next Spider-Man, the Spider-Man that comes after Peter Parker.
Morales.
Yeah, Miles Morales. That's who he plays as. So that's...
Piece of trivia there.
Yeah.
If you care.
So, and he says, like, something along the lines of, like, hey, man, I don't want, things that shoot people back in time. I have a nephew living around here.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want him to get, exposed to that. And I really like that they mentioned that. So, yeah, there are some definite problems with this movie. Such as, I'm sure Jordan disagrees, but, well, she doesn't really care. But Zendaya's character. So she's MJ.
But she's not MJ.
Not Mary Jane
She's
Watson.
MJ, but she's not MJ.
Yeah, that's what's kind of stupid about it.
She's Michelle.
Michelle something. Like, you don't know what the
Michelle
date's
Jr.?
Her friends call her MJ, but she doesn't have any friends.
Yeah. But the problem is, like, the character that she's based off. She's supposed to be MJ, right? Not Mary Jane, but MJ. She's supposed to be kind of going off that same template.
Well, that's like the
she's
template
supposed
for
to be.
almost every other romantic
She's supposed
interest.
to be like kind of the popular girl in school. She's supposed to be like the.
Well, that's who Flash is supposed to go after, and of course, Flash is not even who he's supposed to be either. So there was definitely some problems with this.
Turd.
Yeah, well, he's just
That's all he is.
But he's supposed to be he's supposed to be the jock.
Yeah.
The guy who can beat up Peter Parker and intimidates. Why would that guy, when you see him as Flash, that guy's not intimidating. He's just a douchebag.
Well, he never did, though. Peter didn't care.
No, he never intimidated
like,
Peter once.
Whatever,
no,
dude.
but he was just, I just didn't like his character. It's not who Flash is supposed to be.
And that's the purist in Ryan.
Yeah, that's the purest to me.
Yeah,
he's supposed to be the meathead jock.
Also, why do so many Spider-Man things, like so many the only one who did this was Amazing Spider-Man, and they're the only series so far to do this. But why does no one love Gwen Stacy? Seriously, why does no one love that character? Because she's awesome, and she's a great love interest for Peter. And I don't get why they never use her except for in Amazing Spider-Man.
I think they don't use her in this movie because I think Sony's going to develop her own movie.
Oh, yeah?
As becoming Spider-Gwen.
Spider-Gwen. But you need the backstory of her being Spider-Man's love interest to be Spider-Gwen.
Right, but I think that'll come after...
Because she gets killed by Green
school.
Goblin. Huh?
I think that'll come after Tom Holland's out of high school and pretty much after Marvel's done with Tom Holland as Spider-Man in the MCU. And when kind of Sony kind of takes Spider-Man in their own direction. I think we'll get that story with Gwen Stacy. That's just my... That's just a guess.
But no, we get instead for Spider-Man's love interest, we get Liz. She's just kind of a character that they made up. But like
I didn't have an issue with
that.
No.
Not at all. But
I did at the very, very beginning. I'm like, that's not he's like looking at her. You don't know her name yet. I'm like, that's not Mary Jane Watson.
Or that's not Gwen.
It's not the ones that he's. And then oh, her name's Liz. Okay, never mind. Right. It's before Mary Jane Watson. So I had zero problem with the ones I knew she wasn't Mary Jane. I thought they were going to say, yeah, I'm Mary Jane. Well, I was like, what? She's not in the debate club or any of those stuff. She's she's not a cheerleader either. But
where's the red hair?
I don't mind if they change.
No, you can change
what she looks like.
You can change races. You can change any of that stuff. That doesn't bother me.
I'm just saying that's kind of like a staple for Mary Jane.
But the character has got to be the character. It can't be. Yeah. Oh, now Mary Jane is like the brooding friggin'. Kind of just the ass hat.
Right.
That's not who Mary Jane is.
Once that,
and then they when they.
But I think that was their out. It was like
once that realization came
that she's not really.
That she's just Liz, a completely different girl. Peter.
Yeah, well,
has the hots
even
for.
the one that they pick is says her name. Oh, but then my friends call me MJ, but that's not Mary Jane Watson.
No,
That's just a
her
different
name's
girl.
Michelle.
Yeah.
Michelle Jr.
Not Junior Dallin.
I don't know what her last name is.
I don't know.
Yeah, maybe it's
But-
MJ as her initials, but
The plot twist though is good with Liz because that's who Peter Parker is. Got a crush on. She's a senior. He's
Right.
a sophomore.
and he
He actually asks her to homecoming.
she
and
says yes.
And he goes to her house, and her dad answers the door, and her dad is the Vulture.
Yeah.
That's the twist of the movie.
Yeah.
And it's a great twist.
It's a really
It
good
is.
twist.
I kind of maybe thought I saw it coming, but I didn't.
I only saw it coming when he pulled up to the house
House.
and this is gonna be.
It's gotta be.
Right.
Yeah.
That's about when I
Like,
got
what-
it.
Things
why
were
else-
going.
Why
like,
else would
things
you
are
show
going
that
too
scene?
well?
Things
Yeah.
are going too
Well,
well.
also,
yeah.
why would you need that scene of them pulling up to the house and him going up? They could have just gone to the
Right, they could have just
them dropping
been
it
at the. Right.
at the homecoming dance.
He had to meet her parents, and that's how I knew
Mhm.
that this was going to happen. Once they got to that scene, and he's going to go into the house to get her. Okay,
and he
There's
has
a
already
reason
seen
for
the
this.
Vulture's real face, even though without the
At
mask.
the boat. Yeah.
So
Right.
Spider-Man knew who he was as soon as he opened the door.
Yeah.
Now the Vulture didn't know who Spider-Man or that Peter Parker,
Parker
was
was
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man. But
But
he
then
quickly put the
He
pieces
put it together when they were talking about their school trip and all that stuff.
Right.
Boom! It just started clicking in his brain.
By the way, one of the most tense moments in any Marvel movie is that car ride.
yeah.
Well, because
everything about
Peter
you just
Parker
tenses
knows,
up.
so he is trying not
Trying
to
to
say
deflect.
anything.
Yeah, he's deflecting as much as he can.
Right.
And I just love
Liz has no clue what's going
She's
on.
just she's just spilling the beans.
Yeah.
And then you can see the Vulture. He's just sitting there and he's listening to their conversation.
and
all of a
he's
sudden,
asking Peter questions.
and you can see the wheels turning.
Right.
And Michael Keaton does a great job
Oh, yeah.
of
You can see it
seeing
in his
that in his
eyes.
eyes.
Yep.
He's realizing who Peter Parker is, that he is Spider-Man.
Yeah,
Who's been antagonizing him this whole time while he's been
Right.
trying to steal the stuff from
He's like,
the stuff that happened in all the alien technology, so he can build his weapons and sell them to people.
yeah, he's like, have we met before? Like, even the voice is very similar.
Right.
And and I love, when Liz, leans over and she's, showing him, something, and she's like, oh, so cute. And he's like, aw. Gives, this straight face, I'm not, I don't
he
care.
knows he's in trouble.
Yeah.
And he's just trying to... That whole car ride, he's just trying to figure out a way to get out of it.
Right. Or what to do.
Right.
Yeah,
And
he's trying to figure out what to do.
Then the old Vulture guy tells his daughter, "I need to have the dad talk."
The
with
dad
Peter.
talk, yeah.
Could you excuse us? And she steps out, and then he says, "I know who you are."
He brings out a gun.
Yeah, points it at him. I know who you are.
Yeah.
And he gives him. I mean, he gave Peter Parker the opportunity.
choice.
Just leave me alone.
Right.
He could have killed him right there, but he didn't. He's like, leave me alone. Just leave me alone.
leave me alone.
We'll have no problems. But
Right.
And he's
Peter is too good of a person. He couldn't just let it go.
Right.
he's even willing to have Peter be, his daughter's date.
Yeah,
and
even his boyfriend. Just
Yeah.
leave me alone.
Yeah, just leave me
But-
alone and
Don't
leave
get
my
my
business.
business.
Don't get my
Yeah.
business. Yep.
Leave
Peter,
my business
Peter just
alone.
couldn't do it.
No, well, because he knows what his business is, and he knows what those weapons can
Yeah.
in the wrong hands.
Right.
What they'll be capable of. So he just can't let it go. Peter can't let it go.
Now,
Right,
okay,
so-
well, I was gonna say the final fight scene between Vulture and Spider-Man seems to be kind of a debated one, where a lot of people either really like it or a lot of people didn't like it because it was on top of the plane and you couldn't quite see what was going on. What?
On the top of the invisible plane?
Yeah, yeah. Did
I
you?
didn't have a problem with their fight scene.
Yeah.
Me neither.
Like,
No.
The
I
final
liked
battle?
it.
yeah, I thought it worked out really well, like the way they kind of did the different cuts back and forth. I didn't have an issue with that
Okay.
at all.
Good.
Well, and that was actually...
'Cause I
So
liked
just
it.
going back to this suit thing, and I know you guys didn't like it, but another reason that I really did like it is because this final fight scene, he has to go in without it, and it is just him, and it's just Peter Parker as the Spider-Man that he created. That's all he's got. He doesn't have anything that's going to save him. He doesn't have a parachute that Tony installed into his suit without telling him. He doesn't have anything. And so it just makes that scene, or it just makes that fight scene, the whole climax, I think, so much more powerful.
Mm.
That
And
he
so
doesn't
more-
have any of that.
So much more tense.
It
yeah.
is just him. And he does it just him. It doesn't have any help.
Mm-hmm.
I think you could have built that climax, though, without giving him so much tech. Without, once, like I said, once that suit's taken away from him, if we had never known about all these other modes that were in the suit because some high school kid hacks the suit and can figure this out and how to turn them off, if we had never known that, the climax still would have been the same at the end of the movie with him fighting the Vulture. We didn't need to know that it had a kill mode and it had, this taser stuff.
No, that's true. That doesn't add or take away from the climax.
It doesn't add or take away from the fight, the final battle.
Mm-hmm.
So I just didn't think it was unnecessary.
Mm-hmm.
Those parts of the suit.
I think you could have had some of the parts of the suit because it did come from Tony Stark, so it does make sense that he put in a artificial intelligence that talks to him. What I could have kept the little bug that comes off the spider on the front, and it's like a little
recon drone.
That part I could keep, but
that's fine. Yeah, I
don't.
don't.
And also like the little tiny metallic spider that climbs up that guy's leg.
Oh yeah, the little tracker. The tracker was cool. You could have kept that, and you could have kept her so she could like tell him like where the tracker is and going and where he's got to go or whatever, and like that kind of stuff. What I could have done without is all the different types of modes or taser webs and all that kind of stuff. You could take all of that stuff out, and then you need to add back in though the spider sense.
The Spidey sense.
Yes. Spidey sense, because we got no Spidey sense. And that was kind of weird.
Just his.
Yeah, because they did
it's
that.
It's not a suit that does it. It's because he was bit by the spider that give him that spider sense.
They did do that in the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man.
Oh, he definitely had a spider sense.
And because like he could see everything in like slow motion or whatever.
They totally dropped the ball in the spider sense.
Yeah, you just sense threats.
It's almost
around him.
It's almost like they totally forgot about Spider-Man having spider sense, and they just totally dropped it and didn't even think about it when they were making this movie. It's like,
or they intentionally and consciously chose to leave it out.
I don't know why would you do that though? That's like one of his abilities.
I think is to give the suit more gravitas. Really,
that's got to be what it was.
Yeah. See, now I can see him. Since he learned his lesson or whatever, I can see him when he gets the suit back. I can see him not using some of those modes, like him choosing not to.
Right.
Well, I could see him going through the entire training protocol.
Yeah, and learning how
with Karen, learning how to do everything.
Yeah,
and then turning things off that he knows
he's
never gonna need.
Yeah, like the insta kill mode.
Right.
And all that stuff. And also, speaking of insta kill, thank you for keeping Vulture alive.
Yes.
Thank you for not killing off a villain. Because, I'm seeing this a lot with, Marvel movies.
Or comic book movies in general.
Yeah. They don't kill off the villain, which is something I think you're kind of supposed to do with comic book movies, because the villain is always supposed to kind of come back later on, and, oh no, they're back, and you have to fight them again. And that's how it is in the comics.
I would like to see, Vulture start the Sinister Six.
Yeah, with Scorpion.
Right.
Speaking,
instead of
post-credit scene.
Instead of Kingpin.
Yeah. Post-credit scene with Scorpion. What'd you guys think of that?
I liked it.
I didn't stick around.
No?
You didn't stay?
Was that mid-credit scene?
Mid-credit scene.
Was it Scorpion?
Yeah, that's
he's
Scorpion.
Got the scorpion on his neck, the tattoo. You didn't even notice? Yeah.
And he's talking about his friends.
My only problem with it is, once again, this is me being a purist, the Scorpion's not some thug guy. That's not how his character was supposed to be.
No, he was constructed.
Yeah.
Because the Scorpion is the natural enemy of the spider.
Yeah.
So he was built.
So he shouldn't already have some Scorpion tattoo. I know that's kind of foreshadowing or whatever to try to tell you this is who this guy is, but that's not who he's supposed to be. He's not a criminal. He didn't start out as a criminal.
Yeah.
That's already in prison.
By the way, he's the guy that he knocks off the boat.
I guess I did kind of notice.
He gets run over by the ferry.
Yeah, he gets run over by the ferry.
Yeah, I just didn't even see the tattoo.
During the fight on the ferry, he's the guy who gets knocked off and he's hanging on the back.
Yeah,
that's him. I only noticed that the second viewing, which is funny. And then the final post credit scene.
Oh, that was pretty funny with
It was.
with Captain America.
Yeah.
talking about patience
Yeah.
because everybody's expecting like
His
a
PSAs,
foreshadowing of whatever the next movie's gonna be.
I love the way they
And
use
then-
Captain America in the movie with the PSAs.
Yeah.
I like the PE teachers. Like,
Oh, that one was hilarious.
Like, well, I think this guy's a
War criminal.
but well,
Yeah.
we'll watch
Watch
it
it anyway.
I have to
The
show you
st-
this anyway.
The state law.
Yeah, state law requires I show you this anyway.
Did you
That was
notice,
funny.
though, that they were, when, what's his name, Happy was loading up the ship, he said something about Cap's new shield.
Yeah.
Because Tony is hoping that he
Oh.
comes back.
Yeah, because it's in there.
Mhm.
Like, Tony probably had created it for Captain America a while ago.
Yeah.
Captain America, so like he loves the one he has that was created back when
His dad.
he was created.
Well,
just-
Tony's dad created that one.
Yeah.
It suggests that the rift between them is, like, closing slowly, maybe.
There'll still be
That was
getting
causing
into
Civil
like
War.
Avengers Infinity War that's coming up. There'll still be a rift.
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
there
yeah.
will be.
It'll be Thanos that brings them together
Mm-hmm.
because they have to.
Thor Ragnarok's coming out this
Yeah, it's coming up in a couple months.
November.
November.
Yep.
I get November 11th or
Yeah.
something like that.
Black Panther is
It's next year.
Next year. Yeah.
I think in summer.
And so is Infinity.
I'm excited
War is
for both
next
of those.
Fallish or
Yeah, like
winter.
Especially
winter.
Black
Yeah.
Panther.
By the way, one last thing. The humor, in my opinion, was like spot on.
I have an issue with one scene that was
Which one?
supposed to be funny. Because they've been touting this movie as the Spider-Man version of Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Oh yeah, the part where
And they
Ferris
like
Bueller.
just slap you in the face with it when they're watching the movie Ferris Bueller, and it's just like he's running through through the backyards and stuff. That was like
Two
too
on
much.
the nose.
Too
Yeah.
much.
Two on the nose.
I didn't appreciate that part, like because they've
Yeah.
been saying that through this like whole like build up to the Spider-Man movie. This is gonna be a
Ferris Bueller.
Ferris
like-
Bueller's Day Off
Spider-Man.
type Spider-Man movie,
Yeah.
And then they slapped you in the
they
face
just
with the
slap you in the face
actual
with like
him running. Yeah, there's people watching it in their backyard.
right.
While he's running through backyards.
Yeah, he's doing the same thing, Ferris Bueller. Okay, I get it. You don't have to slap me in the face with them watching the movie too.
Yeah, I get the reference.
Right, I got it.
But no, I thought the humor though was really good.
Yeah, there's some really good. There's some funny parts. Well, the very very end. What
Yeah.
the fuck?
Yeah. Now, what do you guys think of that?
That
Aunt May
Aunt May's gonna
knowing-
know he's Spider-Man.
I actually
Oh.
don't have a problem with that because, to be honest,
If anybody's
in the
gonna
com-
find out, it would be her.
yeah.
Right.
And in the comics, there's a part where he actually has to tell her, and she like looks at him. She's like, "I've always known." Like,
I think she's kind of put the pieces together. She just hadn't realized it
Yeah.
when that scene came.
Yeah, because he gets the suit back and he puts it back on, and then is he coming back in or is he just putting it back on?
He takes off the mask because he puts it back on after he
Gets it back.
gets it back from
Right.
Tony, and then he takes off the mask and he's like looking out the window.
Yeah, and she opens his door. What the?
Yeah.
What the fuck? That's the end of it.
Yeah.
That's how the movie ended. It's
Yeah.
pretty good.
Going through a timeline, bow, bow. Yeah, it's I do like this movie a lot. I really like it, and
I still liked it. I still liked it a lot, even though there's some pure stuff that I didn't like. But
and Spider-Man will
I can
return.
overlook it because
so
it's good.
Spider-Man will return in his next movie, probably with Sinister Six, which
Who is the Sinister Six?
Scorpion. Is Scorpion part of the Sinister Six? I thought he was, but I know Vulture
I think there's been
is.
different.
Versions of the Sinister
Mysterio
Six.
has always been
iterations.
kind of a constant one in the Sinister
There's
Six.
been like pretty like,
Rhino.
different iterations of the Sinister Six. I know like Dr. Octopus is
Part of
was part of the Sinister Six. Vulture was part of the Sinister
Rhino
Six.
was part as well.
Sometimes I think.
Yeah.
Scorpion,
Mysterio.
Mysterio, not Shocker, Electro, sometimes.
Yeah.
It's one
I
thing-
mean, the Kingpin kind of like puts them together,
Yeah.
and we won't ever see the Kingpin.
I mean, unless they decide
in a
to bring
Spider-Man
in,
movie.
unless you decide to bring in Daredevil's Kingpin.
So I think Vulture will actually end up being the
leader of the
lead.
Mm.
Yeah.
I think that's
Of the
where they're going
Sinister
next
Six.
on the next movie, the next Spider-Man movie, the Sinister Six.
I
Six,
think
or they got to
they'll
go to
just-
something else. Scorpion, just the Scorpion and Spider-Man.
Yeah, because we're gonna see Spider-Man in Infinity War, so I think we're gonna have to see some sort of like something's going to happen to Spider-Man in that movie, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Not like, not going to die, obviously, because Sony won't ever allow that to happen. But I think something will happen to him where he realizes maybe he's like hitting over his head.
Yeah, going over his head, yeah.
Like fighting somebody like Thanos and stuff, then maybe I should just be the neighborhood-friendly Spider-Man and take care of my neighborhood.
Stay on the ground for a little while.
Right.
Yeah.
I think he's going to come to a realization like he's too young to be there yet. A full Avenger.
Yeah.
And he does turn that down in this movie.
He does.
At the end, he turns it down.
Right, but he's going to be called to fight, and I think he's going to realize why he made the right decision.
Yeah.
Right, and why Tony didn't want him close to it yet.
Now, talking of Scorpion, I mean, I'm a purist, like, at least when it comes to comic books, I'm a purist like Ryan. And I want him in a green suit with a freaking scorpion tail.
Yeah.
Like, I want...
It'd be nice. I don't know if you're going to get it.
I don't want him to be mechanical.
It's going to be mechanical.
It'll be more...
It's going to be Vulture-esque.
Yeah, it's going to be more like Vulture. I like
the Vulture.
You couldn't put a guy in some feathers and make it serious. It'd turn into Batman.
You don't want the Condor, man.
It'd be Mr. Freeze
all over
again, or friggin' any of those characters that they did in some of those Batmans.
Yeah.
Was it Mr. Freeze? Dr. Freeze? Oh my god.
Mr. Freeze
here. But whatever the stupid...
We'll kill the dinosaurs. The Ice Age!
Yeah. That's that kind of stuff. That's where you would go if you put Vulture in a suit with feathers.
It's time to kick some ice.
You just couldn't do it. So I don't think you can do it with Scorpion either. You're gonna have to go with mechanical because it's the only way it makes real sense. You have to bring it out of you do have to bring it out of the comic book.
Yeah.
And bring it into reality. And reality's not going to let you have...
Put some green into the suit, at least.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Because, well, I mean, that is kind of Spider-Man's main villain, like, color. Green Goblin, Mysterio has green, Vulture has green.
Yeah.
Right. Scorpion has green. All of them have green, except for Electro.
But they definitely foreshadowed that the next one's definitely going to have Scorpion as the bad guy.
Yeah, yeah.
God, man, the only thing that drives me nuts about Marvel is they've got Spider-Man back, but they've got to take the X-Men back. Because you could have so many great crossovers.
Now,
didn't they say that there was something about the Fantastic Four and Infinity Wars?
There could be. That was a rumor that's floating around there that from D23 and the footage that was shown there, that there's going to be like Fantastic Four might show up in Infinity Wars.
That makes sense if...
Some capacity.
It makes sense if Fox sold Fantastic Four to because they're not making any money off of it.
No, because those movies bombed
twice. I love the Silver Surfer portion of the second one.
But then the Galactus part...
Galactus ruined it.
Yeah, the Galactus part was so stupid.
They did Silver Surfer great.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, but oh my god, if they could just get all of their stuff... Marvel could get all of their stuff back.
That would be nice.
There would... I can't even imagine the movies that could come out that... I'm, just bouncing around in my head right now.
A new Wolverine.
Crazy stuff. Some great stuff could be done.
Yeah, because you get like those crossovers.
Yes. Where Spider-Man and meets up with some of the X-Men. I mean, that stuff happens in the comic books.
Yeah.
Or the Fantastic Four and Spider-Man.
Spider-Man. Yep.
Oh, there's just so many opportunities there.
Mm-hmm.
But they've pieced their franchise apart. They've torn it apart into different areas.
They need to get Blade back too, because then they could have like Spider-Man with like Morbius and the Blade.
Yes, Morbius, Blade,
and the Black Cat. Like that whole like.
There's so many opportunities there, but they've made the mistake early on by giving away all their franchise stuff to different
allowing other studios to buy their IPs.
Yeah, and if they could get them all back somehow. The movies that could come out would be just tremendous.
As long as they don't do the Clone Saga with Spider-Man, I'm cool. That was a bad saga.
What's the comic? There's one in the comic books where that one guy takes all of, like, a whole bunch of characters and puts them on a planet, and they have to fight a whole bunch of other guys.
Like Dr. Doom gets his own planet.
His own planet, and Spider-Man has his, and he gets to pick who he wants to bring in to do the battle. And you have,
that sounds pretty good.
You got the Fantastic Fours there. There's a whole bunch of X-Men guys there.
Dude, Also, with Doctor Doom,
Spider-Man.
if you can get Doctor Doom back, he's like one of the Avengers' main villains. He always toys with the Avengers. It's not just Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
He always goes against the Avengers.
Yeah, there's just so many opportunities, but the Marvel has got to either just, or Disney
Because
and Marvel have to spend their money and just yank back all their stuff.
Did Magneto get his own planet? I'm trying to think of like the villains in that cartoon series.
Yeah.
Wait, in the Spider-Man cartoon where they did do that.
It's in the comics, too.
Yeah. So good.
All right.
Alright, so...
I think we've pretty much exhausted everything about Spider-Man.
We beat Spider-Man.
We liked it.
Up enough.
Yep.
And... Yeah. So, Jay, where can people find you?
You can find me on my other podcast with Dallin and Ryan, Red 2 Chatter. We talk all about Star Wars. You can find me on, and check out our Facebook, Red 2 Chatter. You can find me on Instagram at J Wilson by Design, and you can find me on Twitter at JBird51. That's the letter J, BIRD 51, JBird51.
Okay. And, you can find us on our Facebook page.
Our very poorly managed, inactive Facebook page. I'm gonna get better, I promise.
And
That's my job.
so go follow that. We'll try to start posting more often. I'll try to help you with that. And I also have a gaming channel. It's in the link down in the description below. Right now, I am going through Persona 5 and Nier Automata. They're great games, and I'm loving them so much. So yeah, definitely go check those out. And we will see you all next time. Bye!
Later!
Yeah.
I don't do social media.